Hey everyone, this is Jeremy with Queen Bee's Honey. I'm going to show you how I make pollen patties. It is January 1st, 2025. Most people wouldn't be feeding pollen right now, but we're still warm here. We've been in the 80s. We're actually in a cold front today in the 60s. We do have a cold front moving in about 6 days. When I say cold front, high in the 40s, low in the high 20s for about 5 days. So it's not cold to a lot of people. Like I said, I've been babying a few colonies, so I'm going to feed them some pollen supplement, some pollen patties. I've been feeding them sugar water, and they've been doing great. This bag here, it is pretty expensive. It's at $100, but it's 40 pounds of dry supplement, and I like that because you could only get, what is it? Not even 40 pounds for $100 and some of pre-made patties. The good thing about this is you can make a lot more, and you can feed dry supplement if you wanted to do that. So I'll post a picture of the recipe I use. Cayman Reynolds has a good video on it. This is how I do it in a bucket instead of with the blender. I'm gonna make, I guess, twice that measurements. I'm gonna double everything because I want around 10 pounds of pollen patties. So first thing first is get you a bucket. This one ain't super clean. It's actually kind of dirty, so it is what it is. It's for bees. I mean, there's grass and dirt, whatever else in there. All this is a supplement for them, so you ain't got to be perfect. Just make sure there's no chemicals or anything in there. You do need gelatin. You need water, sugar, vegetable oil, and your pollen substitute. Since this is, I'm going to double the measurements. Each one of these is a 1/4 ounce, and you need a 1/4 ounce per recipe. So since I'm doubling it, I'm going to use 2 of these. And you need a pound of water for each. So I'm putting 2 pounds of warm water in the bucket. I can see some of that stuff floating around. And I'm going to add 2 packs of gelatin in there. Now, as I add this in here, I do want to make sure that is mixed good before I add anything else. So hopefully I can see what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm trying to make more videos for y'all to follow along. Let me get this right here where y'all can see. So I got the gelatin in there. I just use a drill. Make sure you have a good drill with a couple batteries because you are going to use a lot. And old paint mixer. Paint's not going to affect it. The old paint on there, but literally just blend that gelatin in. You want to make sure it is blended in there good because that gelatin is what keeps those pollen patties from drying out. So once some of this foam leaves, I want to make sure that it's all blended in there. I'm going to see what the rest of the recipe has as far as measurements, and I'll start measuring that out for y'all so y'all can see what I need. All right, so since I'm making double the recipe, I need 5 pounds, 4 ounces of sugar. So this is a 4-pound bag. I'm gonna go ahead and pour all that in there and then get a pound and 4 ounces to add as well. So next step, I'm gonna add all the 4 pounds here. Then I've got my scale set to 0 with the cup on there, and I'm gonna add a pound and 4 ounces. There's a pound. A pound, 4 ounces. That's a little bit extra, but something's gonna stick to the cup anyway. I'm gonna mix that in here. now we're gonna look at the important part, which is the pollen. I add all this stuff first because, you know, that is easier to mix. Once you start adding the pollen, everything gets super dry and you gotta have to work everything in. So let's start on the pollen. Alrighty, so now the important part is I need 3 pounds 8 ounces since I'm doubling my recipe. Let's see here, that's at 0.1. And it's crazy because 3.5 pounds pollen substitute is going to make around 10 pounds of patties with the sugar, water, oil. Let's see what that equals. Not even 1 pound. I'm going to do them in 1 pound increments, if that's possible. That's right at a pound. So I'm going to add this one, mix it up some, add some more. You do need to have a good drill and a couple batteries because it will get thick. All right, so there's 1 pound. Pretty much a full cup is another pound. Let's get this full here. A little over a pound. This makes 2 pounds. Let's get our 3rd pound in here. Might need to add a little bit more. It's actually more than. There's 3 pounds. So that is getting thicker. I'm going to add that extra ½ pound, which I really think I only need about 6 ounces because I did go over on some of it. That's 10. 9. That's about a ½ pound. And at the same time, I am going to add a ½ cup of vegetable oil to mix in to keep it wet as well. I'm going to go ahead and add that. If you have a big mixer, it's even better, but like I said, oh shoot. There's a ½ cup there. We're going to mix this in for 2 to 3 minutes at least. Make sure it's really good. You do want a good drill because it does have a lot of torque on it. You don't want to burn a drill up, so make sure you have your good quality drills when doing this. Hopefully y'all could see this. This is the consistency we have here. Kind of look like not a pumpkin pie, but you know, it's thick, not super runny. That's a good consistency. So I'm gonna get a box ready, and I like to let it wait. I would actually let it set overnight in a box with plastic, but I need to put them on the colonies today. So I'm gonna let it set for about 30-45 minutes, make the patties, and then head out to the bees. So all it takes is that to mix it. Now let's get it ready. Alrighty, so the next thing I do is I get a box. Like I said, I like to do this overnight if possible, but I'm gonna try to go to the bees today. It is cooler today. I think we hit 60. We've been in the 70s and 80s. Bees have been doing great, brooding up still. But I do this because I like to let it set and kind of mix good. So let's see if I can do this while on video without looking too crazy. And when you let this set overnight, it's nice because it's just one big cube and you can make your slices of pollen to put on, you know, parchment paper to make your pollen patties. So this is actually a little thick. I probably should add water, but ain't nobody got time for that. Y'all don't have to see a whole video of me doing this, so I'll come back here in a second. Alrighty, so this is what we have in here. I like to let it set. Probably should have used a smaller box if you want them thicker, but I like to put them in here and then kind of just, I would do it overnight, but normally I put the bag back over it so they don't dry out. They actually, I don't know, you have to let it settle for some reason, in my opinion. They come out way better when you actually let that substitute settle. Get all the air out. Like I said, I'm gonna be back in about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I normally like to do it overnight, but we'll look at it here in a little while. As you see, my bucket is as cleaned out as possible, and we only use 3.5 pounds of that 40-pound bag to make at least 10 pounds of pollen patties. All right, y'all. So normally I let it sit overnight. I'd make more and make it fluffy, but I only let it set for 30 minutes, and you can see the texture pretty perfect. All I'm gonna do is I have some parchment paper that's pre-cut. Just gonna try to make around 1 pound a piece. I only have 8 colonies right now, so I'm just gonna make 8. I don't want to make extra because I don't want it to dry out. You know, I don't know when I'm gonna add more to it, so literally all I'm doing is gonna kind of guesstimate, get a putty knife, whatever you want to use. You can literally just cut into pieces. I mean, and this is just perfect, perfect texture. It's really, you're able to, let me get you a little bit closer. Let's see what I got there. Hopefully that's better for you. You kind of just get the weight that you want. That's 11 ounces, so I'm gonna add more to that. I'm just gonna add a piece from here. It could be a little bit more than a pound because I know we have more than, that's a little bit more than a pound. That's perfect. Now all I do is just kind of crush in. Now if you make them super fat, you may need spacers, depending on if you use inner covers or what. So I do have spacers ready. There you go, pollen patty. Boom. Simple as that. I'm just gonna guesstimate a pound, like I said. Maybe a little bit more than a pound because 3.5 pounds of pollen substitute makes more than what you need. 3.5 pounds, or I guess what I was gonna say, 3.5 pounds of pollen substitute is more than 10 pounds of pollen patties. Because when you add sugar, water, that's 1.5 pounds almost. Take that off there. 1.2 ounce or 1 pound, 2 ounces. It's fine by me. I'm just gonna kind of, might want to wear gloves. I'll just wash my hands afterwards. Even it out. There we go. Boom. See how I want to do this. Not a hard process, y'all. Saves a lot of money too. Oops. I changed the unit to grams on accident. I don't know what's going on. Turn this off here. Anyways, that's what I do. I'm going to cut it up, put it into parchment paper, and then go put them on the colonies.